Hello, my biddies. How are you today? I'm doing okay. I have a pest problem. I have pantry moths that I've been trying to get rid of forever. Still haven't gotten rid of them. Can't believe it. So dumb. I don't have an, as expected, I do not have a reality TV segment for you today. Sorry, I was eating. Um, because it just didn't get done yesterday. I told you it probably wouldn't. I like all the bots that are here at the beginning. There were 5 people here 2 seconds ago, and now there's none. If you are here, please say hi in the chat so I know that you're actually here. I know no one's here. So, yeah, pantry moths, don't get them. Don't get them. They're terrible. Because once you get them, you can't unget them. Seems like they're there forever. I killed 5 just a few minutes ago. They're all in one cupboard, which now has nothing in it but moth traps. I'm going to get something that I'm hoping will help after this. Because I'm going to do everything I can. Stuck in my teeth. I know it's gross. I'm sorry. Especially if you have issues. I got my little project done yesterday. I did get it done, even though I'm still not done doing setting up the show for the week. I got farther on it today. Still not done. Sucks. Probably not going to be a reality TV segment tomorrow either. At this rate, because I got to go get groceries and some DE. I forgot what the DE means. Diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth. That's what I got to get. Anybody got any ideas on pantry moths? There's nothing in those cabinets where they're coming from right now. I just hope they don't get back in the other cabinet because they haven't been in there for forever. That one cleaned out nicely the first time, and that's the one where they came from to begin with. Hello. Thought I heard a noise. I did. Martha, I'm coming in to use my bathroom as a porta potty again. He's working not too far from here. He says our bathroom's better than the bathroom there. That's because men live there, and at least one woman lives here. All right, so I guess we'll get into Reddit reads. I just sprayed Raid in there. I don't think it's going to do anything. I raided the whole thing. The one cabinet where they seem to be coming from. They don't seem to be coming from anywhere else in the house. It's just that one. It's like the, what do you call it? Appliance garage. That's where they seem to be coming from. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Years, I'm telling you, years. They do go away in the winter. I gotta keep it cold enough that I think if I could keep the house below 68 degrees for a year, we'd be good. But I don't see that happening ever. It's beautiful outside, by the way. So first up, we have entitled people, and this is entitled "Free Food?" Question mark. My wife and I have the questionable habit of feeding strays. We have bird feeders all over our property and put out cookies for the squirrels and leave food and water in our backyard for strays that wander by. The latter is the reason I'm writing this. So I put out a fresh bowl of dry food, a large pan of water every day between 5 and 6 in the evening. I go out early and refill the water bowl and toss whatever food remains into my yard. I'm surprised you have any food remains. I'm surprised the raccoons have not discovered you. Usually just crumbs. A week ago, my wife took out some trash and she returned and asked me if I forgot to put the food out. I walked outside and sure enough, the food bowl was empty. Well, I'm retired, so maybe I forgot. I refilled it and then went back inside. The thing is, it happened every night for the rest of the week. I made a point of double checking before going to bed, and damn, the bowl was always empty. Cut to the chase, it turns out the new neighbor noticed our habit of leaving food out for strays, so not wanting to turn down a boon to her budget. She was putting her little dog in a harness, lowering him over the fence and separating our yards. Then she'd left the slack out of the rope until he could reach our back porch and let him empty the bowl, and then reel him back in. Man, pay for your own dog food. How much for the raccoons? Once I caught her, we had a brief conversation. If you use the word to describe me, asking questions at a reasonable volume and her screaming nonsense for replies. Finally, I called her landlord, and a friend of a friend asked if I could have a word with her. Just let her know this is not how to be a good neighbor. He listened and then asked, she has a dog? Turns out he didn't rent with people to people with dogs. Cats, yes. Dogs, no. He drove over and caught her with the dog in the living room. Now she has 30 days to move out. Not my finest moment. I was to know the guy would do that. That's funny. That's hilarious. I love it. Absolutely love for her. What a cheapskate. I'm supposed to have a dog. Kim is a shoe. I don't think Kim would do that. She's one of our biddies, but she never shows up anymore. She showed up one time, even though I remind her almost every day. Les Professor says she deserves it. Good for you. Cherry Black Red Wine says truth. Captain Karma riding on a fast horse. Suspicious Eagle is a second top rated comment. They say, this is actually perfect karma. It is. Miserable Job says I feel bad for the dog. Hope he does not want to adopt the dog. I don't blame him. Mandis, he says this comes under FAFO. It serves her right. I go see what my son's doing. Because he's out of the bathroom. I think he's in the reading my. I thought he was raiding the fridge, which would be fine. I don't care if he raids the fridge. He's a kid. He's my kid. He's a 30-year-old man, but he's still my kid. He wants to raid the refrigerator. That's fine. There's plenty in there to raid. Next, we have Murdered by Words and is entitled "Kids Stay in School." This is hilarious. All the earthquakes recorded in 2015 to 2025. Did you notice any pattern? Lex says, yes, we noticed the pattern 10 years ago when I was taught to us in school. I got one better. I took oceanography in college in the 80s. That pattern was there then, too. That pattern was there in 1985. Promise. Okay, we've changed to Santa Elena Canyon. This is from James in El Paso, Texas. Very disappointed. We came down to camp for the weekend. We read on the website there was a limited number of reservable campsites. Most were first come basis. There was nothing available here. Nor Tolunga, nor Big Bend State Park, or Fate Davis, Balorma. This is my first ever negative experience at a national park. I'd rather stay home and do yard work than ever consider returning to the area. This was on May 28th. Like, dude, you expected there to be first come, first serve camping on Memorial Day weekend. I wonder if it was Memorial Day weekend or the weekend after. Yes, it was a weekend. It was a Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, it was Memorial Day weekend. You expect there to be camping available on Memorial Day weekend. Are you kidding me right now? People have been camped out there for a week so they could go camping on Memorial Day weekend. Not even a lie. Not even a lie. It's the truth. I worked in campgrounds. I know. I know how these things work. I don't know much, but I know how that works. So I have Traumatized and Back and is entitled A High School Teacher Blamed Me for Something That and Called My Parents. She never bothered me again after that. I'm a 35-year-old male, and this happened when I was around 17. It's nothing special, but watching YouTube videos about this subreddit made me want to post this story. For context, I've been treated poorly by teachers, probably because I'm quite autistic, and was forced to go to special ed because of their preconceptions. I never belonged there, but I practically had no voice, so I was somewhat rebellious, but still nice at heart. You can be rebellious and be a good person. Just because you're rebellious doesn't make you bad. Good people do bad things sometimes. It's okay, especially when they're young and they haven't learned yet. It's okay. There was a large space in that school that students could go to during lunch and other breaks between lessons. During my, I believe, second year of high school, I was told by multiple teachers that I should clean up that entire space after every break because I had been leaving a mess behind. Now, I've been raised to always dispose of my own trash in a respectful manner, so I was one of the few students who actually disposed of leftovers and what have you. As such, I explained it wasn't me and even showed them that I didn't have any trash. Somehow they still didn't believe me, so I was forced to clean that entire space by getting rid of all the mess of all the other students left behind. I did this the first day because I was just so shocked. I stopped doing it the second day and I got told off about it for several days after that. Eventually, the head teacher walked up to me threateningly and told me if you don't clean the space, you'll do as you're told. I'm going to call your parents. I looked at her straight in the eye, grabbed my phone from my pocket, handed it to her, and said, "Go ahead." I said she looked. I said she looked shocked and stormed off. I left it at that. My mother told me that she did get called by the school, but I already told her the situation beforehand. So my mother gave that teacher a piece of her mind when she was called. My mother was a lovely woman, but also fierce. I was never bothered about this again. Good. Good that you told your mom ahead of time. Get ahead of it. Always be ahead of it. Instead of observing and seeing who's actually making the mess, I just made an assumption. It's ridiculous. Teachers don't be like that. Stop it. Cause you follow law. Teachers are just likely to be awful as the rest of people are. It's all about power. I'm glad your mom didn't capitulate. And why didn't she call the school after the first time you told her this happened? LP says he doesn't remember. Oh, Madam Min's answer is very likely. I, I'm currently dealing with school administration that hasn't done anything to fix a somewhat similar situation with my own child. That stinks. Nobody should have to do that. Why do we never learn? Why do humans keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again? Why are people not taught better? It drives me insane. Wickedly Witchy Woman says, I've run into this several times in my life, both as an educator and a parent. Teachers/school will target the most high functioning students in SPED classes and make them act as a classroom janitor while gaslighting the student with clean up your mess, even if they had no part in it. From what I've observed, it's largely due to bias and stereotypes. I even heard one admin comment, well, they might as well get used to it. They're the only jobs they're ever going to have anyway. They see all SPED students as low functioning, low achiever types that are destined for menial labor. I love it when one of these kids goes and does something great with their lives. Shows you don't know what somebody is capable of, even if they're not the smartest person in the room. They may have more determination. They may have ideas that other people won't have. I find this attitude infuriating as I am high functioning autist myself. In addition to being a university professor with several degrees, I suppose if SPED classes were a thing when I was younger, and if I had been diagnosed back then, I might have been confined to such a class and treated like a lost cause, as I was a little difficult and distracted, but I always excelled over my peers. And I got that opportunity because without that diagnosis in special classes, I was treated as normal but highly annoying student. This isn't to say I think SPED classes are a bad idea or a bad thing, because depending on ability, some students really need them. When I was young and mid and low functioning students often were just not given the opportunity and education, or all sent to special schools that were really just trade schools for that aforementioned menial labor. SPED classes make education much more acceptable to more students. But I think there are a lot of preconceptions, ignorance, and bias surrounding the students placed there, even among teachers and admins who should be better educated about it. I also think that too many high functioning students get shunted into them without reason because of a diagnosis, when they would probably do fine or even better than fine with just an IEP and attendant accommodations. I think that's a result of school admin and staff simply not wanting to deal with accommodating students in a standard class at all. Opie, I'm glad your mom had your back, against biased and cruel teachers. I wish more parents were aware of how some students treat SPED students. Some schools treat SPED students and confronted them on that BS. Next is from What Should I Do, and is entitled My Ex is Keeping My Birth Certificate. So it said that they'll come over at 6 to get the birth certificate. Actually, you should come over at 7 so I can make you dinner. It's fine, I don't want any dinner. Text me because I changed the locks. That's great. So I'll be over at 6 for my birth certificate. I'll text you, okay? I might not be wearing pants when you come over. That's ridiculous. Put your pants on, boy. You're not together anymore. She don't want to see that. Yes, if she misses him, said, if you don't miss me, you can't come over. I'll call the cops and say you're stalking me. What an idiot. This guy's a moron. Don't let me done myself. If you don't know what that means, um, it's a book. It's from a book and a movie. They're both very good. And now I can't remember. I can remember Amazing Amy was the character in the book. The book had a book series in it called Amazing Amy. And Amy was the daughter of the authors. What is that called? There's a really good movie with it in. Gone Girl, that's it. If you haven't seen or read Gone Girl, highly recommend. What he's saying is that he'll disappear himself just to irritate her. She says she's going to sleep and they can talk tomorrow. She says, the ex says, I hate you, don't come over. I would show up anyway. Like, I'm here for my birth certificate. You can't keep that from me. Also, you should never put your birth certificate in somebody else's hands like that. Somebody you can't trust, ever. Guy can do evil things with it. Pretty new to Reddit, so forgive me in advance. So I, 23 male, was back in contact with my 19 male, my ex 19 male, for around 5-ish months. We dated briefly, but he's just really good company to keep. That is until I learned he was seeing someone else. I usually wouldn't care, but he was trying to get us back together. If I'm being honest, I feel betrayed. It's just confusing how he could go from being trying to get back together with me to going out with some other guy. Maybe I'm just too monogamous. No, he shouldn't be seeing other people if he's trying to get back with you, dude. Come on, have some self-respect. I know him having my birth certificate is weird. When we were dating, I was moving apartments and needed somewhere to leave it, so it didn't get lost. I'm not close to my family, and it just seemed like the easiest place to have it. The reason I want it back now is because I'm done with him. Over the course of the past few months, he has been increasingly annoying to be around. He thinks there are people in his apartment, despite the fact that I've gone through multiple times. He, does he have a brain tumor or is he schizophrenic? He's 19. Maybe he's developing schizophrenia. Or maybe he has a brain tumor. Or maybe the neighbors are breaking in. There's all kinds of possibilities. Usually it's a brain tumor or something. Brain tumor or has a schizophrenia. Over the course of the past few months, he has been increasingly annoying to being around. He thinks there are people in his apartment, despite the fact that I've gone through it multiple times. He has no self-respect at all. I could hit him with my car and still try to stay with me. He's crazy. I want to label him as crazy ex, but I can't. With him trying to keep my birth certificate, he might as well be. I'm trying to sever that last connection we had. I can't go any earlier because I work from 10 to 4. From 4 to 5, I have to go home, check on my dog, and feed her, etc. So it's planning for 6 because he lives 30 minutes away, not counting traffic. That being said, I really need help on what to do. If he's serious about what he said, I don't want to go to jail over my birth certificate, but I also know I'll need it. It's hard to talk to him because, as you can see, he tries to make it sexual. If I go over there at 6, he's mad. He's mad. I'm screwed. If you have any advice, I'd appreciate it. Okay, Simon says bring these texts to the police and ask for an escort. Do it at a time when he will be home, but don't give him a heads up because he might not answer the door, or he might take off. I concur. Electric Act says I concur. Get a police escort. You won't be safe. Then you will be safe when you go pick it up. He is clearly unwell. Yes, that was going to be my advice, was to get an escort. Second top rated comment is from Bulliku. This guy sounds like a total creeper. My kid had a really tough breakup. She withheld some of his stuff. We called the sheriff and explained we needed an escort because she was unstable. Sheriff was cool. 2 guys showed up. They wouldn't go in, but my son and I got a truckload of his stuff. We had a ring camera video of her and her mom going bonkers at my front door at 3 a.m. drunk. We showed the sheriff. Your text message could support the need for assistance. Go get it, then get a protection order. The worst thing to do is engage and argue. He wants the attention. Probably true. Resurrect says, is he on meth by chance? BW Dog says, first thing I comment, I'm happy I'm not the only one who picked up on it immediately, mainly because I know more than a few gay dudes who use ice. This conversation screams stimulated. Okay, that's another possibility, is that he's an addict. We have an update. Sorry I didn't update earlier. This post was taken down for a period of time. Anyways, apologize for taking it to Reddit. I went over at 6 and he gave it to me. There was no contacting the police or going over with 5 friends. It was just me and him. I ended up staying for dinner. He's not that crazy. He's not on meth. He just sees things sometimes and it's completely unrelated to drugs because he's been clean for a while now. I promise you he's a really nice guy if you catch him at a good time. For people asking we weren't together when he was 17, I didn't even know him. We started dating a few months after he turned 18, and this was when he moved to my city before his first semester of college out here. We also didn't move in together. We were just together at the time I was moving. I hope this cleared up some things, and thank you for anyone who extended kindness in my way. I still think he has something wrong with him, something other than drugs, schizophrenia, or a brain tumor. He needs to be checked out by somebody. Next time, malicious compliance and is entitled. He said nobody touches the price tags without his personal check and present, so we didn't. Why would you? He so told you not to. Used to work at a small retail place where the owner had this habit of making one big dramatic rule every time he caught the tiniest mistake. One week, somebody printed a shelf label with the wrong promo date on it. Nothing huge. Easy fix. Took maybe 2 minutes. Instead of telling us to be careful, he came in annoyed and said from now on, nobody changes any price tags, promo signs, or labels without his personal check and presence. That seems like a lot of work you're making for yourself, sir. Instead of just dealing with things as they come up, because most of the time they're not going to be a mistake. He said it twice because he liked hearing himself say stuff like that. We all knew it was stupid because he wasn't there half the time and prices change constantly. But fine, his store, his rule. I asked him right there what we should do if a promo ended while he was gone and the old tag was still up. He goes, leave it. If I haven't checked it myself, I'm not here. You don't touch it. Real clear, real confident. I'd want that in writing. Please put that in writing, sir. Can you send me a message with that in it? So I have it. So I can refer back to it if I need to. So that's exactly what I did. A couple of days later, one of the weekend promos ended, and the old discounted price was still sitting on a pretty popular item near the front. Normally, I would have swapped the tag under it in a minute and moved on with my life. Instead, I left it there because I had very recently been informed that touching price labels without his personal check and presence was apparently a crime. Okay, that's a little hyperbolic. People start grabbing the item and bringing it to the front, expecting the lower price, as they should. In my state, that if if it's labeled that way, they have to sell it. He would be in big trouble. He would be in big trouble, mister, if he was in my state. People start getting. I explained that the shelf still showed the promo price, and I needed him there to check and approve any label change. Since the tag was on display, we had to honor the customer who had already picked it up. This happened again and again. By the time owner finally showed up later that day, we sold a decent stack of them and expired at the expired promo price. He saw the label, got pissed, and immediately asked why no one to change it. I just repeated the exact rule back to him. Nobody touches the price tag without your personal check and presence. You said leave it if you hadn't checked it yourself and you weren't here. He stood there for a second like he was trying to find a loophole in his own sentences. Well, obviously I didn't mean this. Obviously you did, sir. Yeah, I know, that's what it made it even funnier. After that, the rule quietly changed to use common sense and message me if there's a big one, which amazingly was the normal policy before he decided to perform management in front of everybody. Beneficial ad says, I love that the ending line before he decided to perform management in front of everybody. I always thought we should have more negative word associations like this was a blatant act of premeditated management. Or you lost my respect when you decided to commit management. Those are good. Don't commit management. Don't commit micromanagement. Management's fine. Micromanagement is when you get in trouble for yourself. Odd Iron says, when I changed semi tires and worked in a shop, I had a manager like this. Thought he was hot crap. He used to stand in the upper storage area with his arms crossed, watching everyone work, like he was watching for any slackers in his sweatshop. One day we had a tire blow one of the safety cages. He struts out automatically, rolls the tire out of the cage as forcefully as he can, pulls out the cage and slams it to the ground. When the boss comes out to see what happened, the manager tells him he watched the whole thing and it started to go and we rushed to remove the air from it. Yeah, There ain't no way I'm going to anywhere near a tire about to blow. Dude was a tool, and I'm glad he was laid off. He made life unbearable for everyone working under him. My coffee needs me, says. Don't you put tires in safety cages because you already know they're going to blow, like, and don't want to be anywhere near them? And he answers yes. Second top rated comment, it's from, oh no, sorry, speech muted. And they say, I asked about you about this exact scenario and you told me to leave it. So when this exact scenario happened, I left it. Exactly. Meat of Kings is the third top rated comment, and they say, there are a few things funnier in the world than people outwitting themselves. I needed to install 2 racks, so I put them near where they needed to go so I could find them. Less than a week later, I couldn't find them, as I forgot where I put them. To make it worse, they were black, hanging near black holes, thereby rendering them nearly invisible. Ichabod says, putting things away in a safe place is the worst. This. I heard things I know I should know where they are, and I have no clue. Next is Evil Buildings, is Qatar Crescent Tower at Luso Qatar, which we've already seen before, but I'll show you this picture because it does look cool. You think that's a real picture? Did you think that's superimposed? I don't know. We've seen that one before, like several times. Super impractical, super evil, but also super cool, I have to say. It's from Decor. You're supposed to be, no, not supposed to be that. It does look really cool. Next is AITAH. AITAH. We're moving out of my parents' house when I was paying rent without any notice when I was told to give up my room again. No. What is it with these parents making their kids pay rent? I would only make kids pay rent if they were unemployed and staying home all the time. If you're unemployed, I let them live here when they were employed and trying to start a new business. I let them live there as long as they were in school, which for a couple of them was a long time. My son moved out as soon as his now wife graduated high school. He moved in with her. She got kicked out of her house. She had to go find her own, which is sad because her sister's 7 years older than she was and still living at home. Yeah, she's the scapegoat in that family. It's sad. They team out have 3 younger brothers, 16, 13, and 12. Our parents are always a little harder on me than them, and I know that can be normal sometimes. But something that always drove me crazy was when they were hosting people for my dad's family. I would be the only one. It's not coming forward. I would be the only one asked to give up my room to keep them. People from my dad's family stayed over a lot. So there were a lot of times I had to sleep on the couch for them. Sometimes I didn't even get much notice. My brothers never had to give up their rooms. In fact, if there were more usual, my parents would add blow-up beds to my room for them, and guest room would get a mattress or two, depending on the situation. It always bothered me, and I spoke to my parents about it several times. I thought we had a breakthrough last year when they told me they had not wanted me to feel that way and would do better. After I turned 18, I started working full time. I started paying rent. So now he's renting a room, not just sleeping there like a child, renting a room. One of the agreements we came to is there was no more making me give up my room. I told them since I was paying for the room, now the least they could do was respect that. This was never formally implemented. It was all just varied between family. But what happened? A bunch of family visited a month ago. My parents told me to give up my room for them. No, I pay for that room. I pay you money for that room. That's my room that I'm paying you money for. So no, I'm not giving up the room. Go wing yourself. When I tried to stand my ground, I also talked to them about, they told me it was their decision, it was their house. No, I'm paying for a room. Paying you money for the room. You don't just get to make arbitrary rules when you're renting to people. That's why we have rental agreements. I know I keep moving the camera. I keep moving around. I'm uncomfortable today. I can't see my other screen and I can't see the camera. I don't know why that suddenly looks weird. I move the mic. So maybe I can move this over closer. There's the mic. I think you go right. See the flickering? Okay. Maybe that'll be a little better. So just accepting, I called my grandparents on my mom's side and asked if they had room for me and were okay with me moving in. They said yes immediately, came over to help pack me up and move me in. My parents thought it was a joke until they saw my stuff brought out to my grandparents' car. My parents told me, now I'm uncomfortable because I have Donald in the way. Do you like Donald? Dory made me Donald. See, it's Donald. Dory is a very good artist. She was the girl I worked with at my last job. One of these I'm gonna clean up in here. What's this? It's from a pillow. Oh, I think it's my neck pillow. So my neck pillow, yeah, I'm getting distracted. It says, you can see here where it says machine washable. See that right there? Machine washable. See care instructions for washing instructions. I was going to take pictures of this so it would be better. But I need to get this off my desk. This is the tag that came from off of the pillow. Yes, I took it off. See, here it says, cover spot clean only, no bleach, do not iron, do not machine wash. Foam, do not wash foam in washer or dryer. Spot clean only if needed. So much for machine washable, eh? It made me angry. Now I can get rid of these. Put them over here with the potato chips that I was eating before I started. I'm still hungry about them. Even though I ate lunch at 10:30. Oh, my parents told me I couldn't just leave. I was paying rent, so I need to give them real notice. I told them if I kicked out of the space I was renting, I was going to leave. Ever since my parents have been telling me to move back in, they said it was childish to move out in such an overdramatic way. How is this overdramatic? He just got his stuff and left. How is that overdramatic? I don't understand how that's overdramatic. Can somebody explain to me how that is overdramatic? They tell me I left the family members who were visiting feel awkward and like they were intruding. Well, they were intruding on him. Because that was the deal. The deal was Kid didn't have to give us a room if he's paying rent, which is a very fair deal. Put him in one of the other kids' rooms. Why can't they sleep on the couch? NTA, they can't have it both ways. Either it's their house and their decision, which in case you're free to decide you don't want to live there anymore, or you're paying rent for that room and they respect that space. Expecting you to pay rent and then still kicking you out of your own room whenever guests arrive is ridiculous. Moving out wasn't childish, it was the natural consequences of them ignoring one boundary that you asked for. Not to delete a comment, so I don't know why. Wishing dandelions is the second typewriter comment. They say, NTA, honestly, you handle it very well. You didn't yell. You didn't cause a scene. You just found other arrangements and left. Very adult of you, yes. Hope he says, thank you. I saw no reason to make a bigger deal about it. We had enough fights over the years about this topic. Only now I have the ability to do something about the unfairness. Mrs. Morningstar says, that's what they don't like. That's why they're so upset. They've lost their ability to control you and treat you worse than your siblings because you're old enough and have enough money to support to do something about it now. Don't go back. 100% don't go back. Third temporary comments, plants and pizza. I think I like her. Says NTA, your parents are in the wrong here, even if none of the other BS existed. It's making a deal. You gave them money and them going back on it. Stay with your grandparents. Your parents are coming to terms with losing control over you. Some handle this well, so others don't. They're not doing the best right now. Maintain your boundaries and it will get better. I speak from experience. I hope it works out. It may not get better. Some of these parents never gets better for them. And True Party says parents are probably more upset about losing the rent money than their son. Hilltop says it's not just about losing money. They were also made to look bad in front of family. Well, maybe they shouldn't do stupid stuff in front of their family. Hey, pretty lady, ma'am, says, you know what? I'm glad they looked bad in front of family, and I'm glad family feels like they were intruding. They were. Why in the name of all good things did the family notice they were constantly putting OP on the couch every year without fail and say something like, hey, we feel bad putting OP on the couch. We feel bad for always putting him out. Maybe we should get a hotel or we should sleep in the living room instead of him. Is there another option that doesn't involve kicking the same kid out of his room over and over for our benefit? It took me 3 minutes to type that. I'm a slow typer and I just woke up. It would take less time to say it. This is why they should feel like intruders, because without this kind of caring, you're just an intruder. And I won't even start on the parents' role in all of this. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell. And it's entitled, Neighbor Trespassed and Dumped All My Rainwater Catches. Rude. Edit rainwater catch collection is legal in my state. I have a rural property about an hour from where I live. I received a text message from the belligerent neighbor that he went to my property and dumped all my rainwater catches. What do I do? Call the cops. You call the cops. Should the conversation in these directions, the rainwater is to water plants in case brush burning and escapes the burn barrel. There were mosquito dunks in them. It's a bad time for me to go to the property until after finals. And even then, I'm very reluctant to have to spend $30 in fuel as a full-time student. Don't blame me. Neighbors have been mad since day one of me buying the property. The only clear spot on my legal property is at the end of his easement, and he likes to walk down the easement sometimes, and he's PO'd that I have gardening equipment, chainsaws, and PPE stored in my property. But you can see it. Because the plankton said you call the police and report someone was trespassing on your property. Yes. Sue the Bunny says, I second this. It's straight up trespassing and property damage, not just a neighbor dispute. Indy Gal says, and he was dumb enough to put it in writing. For real. For real, for real. Second top right comment is Tweety's voice. And they say, I would do a Tweety voice, but I can't. I can do a pig. I can't do a bird. I would 100% call the police and obtain a no trespassing order so the next time he steps foot into your property, he'll be arrested. Also, get some cheap video cameras. 100%. Illinois, White State. Use text to have the local PD or SO. I know police department is sheriff's office. Okay. Police department and sheriff's office issue him a criminal trespass warning. Some places dumping containers would be criminal mischief. If that's the case, file charges. Georgia. He says he's in Georgia. PME or Rig says your neighbor's an idiot. That behavior gets you shot in rural Georgia. Yeah. Just wait for him next time. Wait out there for him next time. You got all summer to wait out there because your finals are over. Next, we have a benign existence and is entitled. My coworkers know my cat's secret now. I have 2 cats, brother and sister pair. The brother is super laid back cat. And his sister is just the opposite. She's very shy, standoffish cat. But we bonded, and sometimes when nobody is looking, she'll sneak up into my lap and burrow her head into my armpit and purr and drool while I pet her. If she hears my husband coming down the hallway or even hears voices outside the window, she'll stop immediately and jump down. It's her little secret and it's so cute. Today she messed up. I was video messaging. I work from home. It was a work meeting. We were all talking a bunch. And then there was a long silent pause. We were waiting for the system to cycle over so we could review the latest test. My cat mistook the silence for ending the meeting and hopped up and started her snuggling. I didn't say a word, but somebody on the call finally noticed and says, "Oh, your kitty is so cute." Instantly, she heard the voice. She jumped down and ran off. So I explained how shy she was. But now I keep teasing her. A whole room of people saw you get snuggly. Ha ha. Word is out now. Everybody knows you're big softy. That's a nice story. We'll just leave it there. Found Satan. Like it's 2016 all over again. If you know, you know. I don't know. But this is evil. It's truly evil. Do this to somebody. Guess I gotta share it, don't I? Why are you doing that? So evil. She never looks up. I'd look up. And wasteful. You're making her waste water. You evil bitch. It's not funny. Oh my gosh. Seriously. Stop doing it.
Mas que merda é essa, pá? Mas que merda é essa? Já tinha arranjado gente para comer essa merda bem. Pode? Tanta espuma, tanta merda. Mas lá mais uma mulher dessa merda aqui já.
Oh, she scooped me. Good, she did. I didn't know that was going to happen. Honestly, didn't know. Well, of course, the carpet must really be clean by the end of this. Let's see contemporary comments from Angry Robot, and they say, "True Satan is that water pressure." Sir Arthur Dine says, anyone who's ever tried to shampoo a rug with low water pressure can relate to the feeling of there's seemingly an endless amount of suds trapped in there, even if more isn't being added. This is apparently from Portugal. So kids are mean even in Portugal. Even kids that are old enough to know better. So rude. Next we have just no milk. My mother gave my 3-month-old peanut butter in front of me after I said no. Go no contact with this woman. She's not safe. It's not safe. I'm so mad I can either murder or hurt or cry. But I did cry, but I cried so much now that she doesn't understand why I'm mad at her because he spit most of it out. It doesn't matter. She's making peanut butter sandwiches and I asked if he wanted some. I told her, obviously no, Mom. He's 3 months old. Don't give him any. She said a little won't hurt, and I said, no, that's final. Don't give him any peanut butter. She's going to be really upset with herself if he turns out to be allergic to peanut butter because she caused it. He was in his rocking chair on the side table. I was walking into another room. I was on the other side. I saw her dipping her fingers in peanut butter, and I said, no, harder this time. Before I could make it around the table, her finger was in his mouth. He didn't have a reaction, thank God. That's apparently fine, according to her. No, it's not. The first time you're not going to have a reaction. You're not allergic to peanut butter until you've had peanut butter. Nobody's allergic the first time. You're not allergic to a bee sting the first time you get stung. You will be the second time if your immune system decides that you should be, that shouldn't happen. I don't know why she keeps doing this to me. She wants to give him solids now already, too. I really need her help. I honestly need her support right now, but I can't ever trust her. No, you do not need her support. You can do this. I did it on my own with no support whatsoever, except my husband. You don't need her. She's nothing but a harm to you. Keeps ignoring me, keeps crossing my boundaries. I hate her right now, honestly. I'm going through so much with separating from my husband. Moving back home, my baby will have to go for an MRI because of his eyes. And I can't even leave him alone with his grandmother. One person I thought I could and hope I could trust. Florida Flower is the top rate comment, and she says, I don't think you can trust her. You told her no, and she knew better. You told her no multiple times. That is blatantly ignoring you. And what grandmother in this day and age doesn't know that you don't give little kids peanut butter until they're at least a year old? What's the recommendation now? 2, 3? I don't know what happened with your husband, but I will say sometimes we pick relationships based on the relationships that we had as children. It might be that the relationship you thought you had with your mom was only because she was in charge and you were the child. Now that you were an adult, she still doesn't see you as one. Say you have no other place to go, so either you will have to live with not having control over your child while she was watching them, or you will try and find other accommodations that help. Maybe start looking for a woman's shelter and other places that might be able to help you. As for your mom, from what you wrote, sounds like she has survivor bias, and since all has turned out fine, then in her mind you are the crazy one. Even if she hadn't, she might not accept blame. It's very immature mindset but I'm not sure what else you can do. I have family that no matter what evidence you gave them, they won't believe it. For them, they equate their thoughts and ideas to themselves, and they can't look at an action and think, oh no, I did the wrong thing. Let me try and do that again. But rather, I did the thing wrong because if I did, I did nothing wrong. Because if I did, that would make me a bad person and stupid. I'm not a bad person, so the other person is wrong. Besides, everything turned out fine. They're just being difficult. I would talk to your pediatrician and let them know the situation you're in. At least it will be documented, maybe. Yeah, so when she kills the kid, you're not going to get blamed. Hopefully you'll figure it out. Second top rate comment is from Sweet Becky, and she says, you need her, that's why she's comfortable overstepping. It might not be easy, but it would be best to find someone else to help you. Yes. No interaction says that somebody whose mother-in-law tried to give our 2-month-old chocolate, gave two kids things they were allergic to, and to this day is openly defiant that she'll feed them whatever she likes because she believes she knows better. Can't trust her. When someone acts this way, they cannot be trusted. Okay, so he didn't react this time. He didn't choke this time. It goes beyond that. You said multiple times she did it anyway. So is she going to be safe? Is she going to do safe sleep? Is she going to do safe sleep? Is she going to use a car seat every time? Or is she going to decide that he'll be fine without it for just a quick trip? Is she going to cut his hair because she decided he needed it? Let him watch inappropriate shows. You probably are the equivalent of, if she truly wants to support you, she wouldn't be acting like this and putting more things on your plate. Don't worry about. I'm probably overboard the other way. I would never do anything to put my grandkids in danger. When my niece visited with her daughter has peanut allergy. I locked up all the peanut stuff, like peanut butter and everything we had in the house. My husband on weekends commonly eats peanut butter and jelly on an English muffin. He wanted the peanut butter. I said, absolutely not. Sophie's allergic to peanut butter and you can't do that. Absolutely not. You're not doing that. He said, okay. Because he's not an idiot. Actually, I think he said, she's going to just have a little. She's not in the room. I said, no, absolutely not. Peanut butter is gone for the time being until they leave. I would never. She did get stung by a bee while she was here. Of course, it has to be that twin that gets stung by the bee. She didn't have a reaction to the bee, but I told her next if she gets stung again, make sure you have the EpiPen ready, just in case. Her mother's a doctor. It'll be nice. My niece is a doctor. She'll be fine. She's literally a physician. Next, we have Petty Revenge, and it is entitled, They Ruined My Laundry, So I Made Their Next Load Memorable. This happened a few years ago while I was living in the dorms at college. If you've ever done laundry in a dorm, you already know it's basically gladiator arena with lint. The dryers were not cheap, so I always tried to be strategic and economical. I'd set a timer, show up early so I could get my clothes out right when it was finished. One day I came back a few minutes before my cycle was done with a bag of snack-sized Doritos, feeling very responsible. When you find my clothes had been pulled out early and dumped onto a table. Annoying already, but it gets better. The table was covered in a puddle of soda. So now my almost dry clothes were damp, sticky, and smelled like Pepsi. I was furious, not mild convenience furious, more like I paid for that dryer time, and now I have to rewash everything furious. I'm not a destructive person, but I do believe in educational pettiness. I noticed the person's clothes were still in the dryer, so I added a full bag of snack-sized Doritos to their laundry door, shut it, and set it to high heat with the cycle continue. When that dryer finished, I happened to be hanging out in the lounge outside the laundry area. A girl came out looking angry with a laundry basket full of Orange Street Doritos smelling clothes. Was it mature? No. Did it restore balance to the universe? Also, no, I think it did. Did it make me feel better in that exact moment? Absolutely. Moral of the story, don't touch other people's laundry or you might end up smelling like a walking snack aisle. Upper Deck says, yeah, no. I think there was a little balance restored to the universe there. She deserved that. That girl deserved that and more for doing that to OP. Repulsive Chef says, I truly believe the balance was restored. Somewhere on the planet, someone's drink wobbled, then settled back down without falling. No Retail Brooklyn says, I used to be even more petty than that when people would do that. I would just crack open the dryer and leave. That way those particular dryers worked in my dorm room. It would still count down dryer time, so they would have sopping wet clothes and have to pay for more dryer time. Then I would set a timer and come down one more time to specifically beat them to it so I could crack it open again. Always double tap. Oh, that double tap is so good. Living for Donuts answered, someone did this to me in college when I stepped out for a phone call. Not proud of it, but it was Valentine's Day night. I'd just been dumped and I was drinking, so I tied their still wet clothes around some tree branches to freeze after switching my clothes back. Good for you. That old cat answers, extremely justice was served. I was freeze-dried clothes. I am freeze-dried clothes. I was doing laundry and a guy's dryer had timed out. I waited 15 minutes for him to show up. Nope. So I pulled his out and put mine in, got the rest of my wash started. I snuck around because I had washed messed with once. So laundry day was actually studying the laundry room with the clothes processing day. Yep. I was bored, so I folded his two towels, a bunch of t-shirts, and a few socks. No undies. Dude never showed up while I was there. Still wonder what his reaction was finding his stuff neatly folded stacked on the dryer he used. That was nice of you. I'm not that nice. I don't do other people's laundry. I barely do my own. That reminds me, I need to put all the laundry in. Like, desperately. Like, two, really. Next, we have Am I the Jerk? AMTJ, because I don't want people bringing extra kids to my kid's party. No, absolutely not. Why do people do that? I don't understand it. I never took extra kids to a party. I either got somebody to watch the other kids while I went, or my husband went while I watched the other kids, or we just dropped them off. My daughter's having a birthday at a local family fun spot. Like better than Chuck E. Cheese, but less cool than Dave and Buster's. They have laser tag, mini golf. It says mini gold, but I know it's mini golf. Bowling and arcade area. We saved up and scraped so we could afford to have her party there. It's not cheap. Those places are not cheap. They've never been cheap. Had a bowling party once. Had many Chuck E. Cheese parties. I'm disabled while my husband supports our family, mostly solo financially. I'm explaining the money thing because when you buy the party package, you tell them how many kids you'll have there. Up to 12 kids, including the party kids. So she gave out 10 invitations. I asked parents to text me and let me know if they are going. One of the first few people to respond to the RSVP sent me a text saying they're coming as a party of 5. I was taken aback because it never occurred to me that people would expect all of their kids to be invited. So I wrote up this response when they RSVP'd. Wonderful, thank you so much. Lillian will be so happy. When you guys get there, Bose will have us set up for 1 hour of bowling. We have 1 lane set up with bumpers and 1 lane set up standard. After bowling, we will be taken to a party room. Bose will be providing pizza and soda. I will also be bringing some cupcakes. We'll have that room for 45 minutes while the party room. I'll be handing out play cards. We'll have enough cards for the kids Lillian invited, so if anyone brings them, they'll have to buy their own. Playtime and will not be in the party room either, as there's only enough food and desserts for the kids invited. We have 1 hour remaining. The kids can do laser tag, mini golf at the arcade. Oh, they will not be earning prize tickets while using their party cards. Can't wait to see you there. Anyway, am I the jerk in this situation? No, I just told them not to bring their other kids. Please don't bring your extra kids to my party. They don't belong there. We used to have the ordered kids party at a local park, but random kids would start running up and grabbing food and cupcakes. I didn't have a clue who these kids were. The parents would get angry with me if I didn't allow their kids to participate, even though my kids didn't know theirs. Where did these people get off? I don't understand it. If my kid went up to a party and grabbed some food, I would be appalled. I would be apologizing all over the place, even though it was probably perfectly fine. I would say, no, you cannot do that. That is stealing and it is not allowed. This feels like the same thing. It can't be paying an extra $20 per kid that I don't know and didn't invite. Is this standard practice now? No, it is not. This daughter is 11. The next kid is 17, then 21, 23, and 27. No, absolutely not. They shouldn't be coming to a little kid's party. They're way too old to be coming to a little kid's party. No. I mean, I thought the kids were younger. Like, I can understand an 11-year-old being the oldest and the little siblings come along. But older siblings? Absolutely not. Never. Not in any universe. This is the very first time my youngest has asked for something like this for her birthday, and oh, that's her kids. Never mind. Okay. I want to make it happen for her. I can't afford to have kids attend on the tab. I must can't. I think she meant just. I just can't. But honestly, this is should so am I AMJ. RSVP here for 5 kids. Very brazen. OP says it felt wild to me. I don't even know the mom either. I can't imagine doing something like that. Happy Camper says make sure the parent doesn't just drop her kids off too, so you don't have to worry about them. I wouldn't worry worrying about them at all. OP says I talked to the party coordinator at the place. They're going to have a list of kids that were invited, and if they're not on the list, they're not going to be permitted in there with us. Designer Escape says we did a party like this for our daughter when we moved to a new town, so she gets used to her new classmates. I was amazed at people who just add kids. Luckily for us, the extras were evened out by the no-shows. One woman did bring an extra, but explained that they lived too far to make 2 round trips. She and her other son would just buy tickets and play by themselves. I thought she was great. We had ordered too much cake and pizza and invited them to join us to lunch. That's how you do it. Like, if I had to take my younger 2, it would be, we're not at the party. That one is at the party. The other 2 are with me, and we'll be over here. And then if they had too much cake and pizza and they wanted to invite us to eat only, that would be fine. Signs with a story seen in a local butcher shop. Tomatoes are insanely priced at the moment. We will be out of tomatoes until the prices come back down to being somewhat reasonable. Sorry for this inconvenience may cause. Yeah, there's a story. It's called Trump. That's your story right there. Oh, I used to go to this really cool vegetable stand. It's not a stand. It was gigantic. It was a gigantic place. It had all kinds of different vegetables. You'd see a lot of foreigners there picking up vegetables that weren't readily available anywhere else. But I'm telling you, if lettuce or tomatoes was too expensive, they would just not have them. They would just not have them. Anything that was too expensive, they would just wouldn't have. Like, we're not paying that. We have a price limit for ourselves, and we're not paying that for. We're not making you pay that. We just don't have them. If you want to buy those things, you can spend way more money at the store. Hello, it's me. Eddie says, I appreciate when a sign has a voice of a real person that makes sense. Me too. Second top rated comment is from Notion. No Lion, sorry. Told you I couldn't see it. Went to order tomatoes from the store that I work at. I wanted $28 for 5 pounds. They were $11 for 5 pounds last month. That's crazy. Forsaken Percentage said, look, I'd rather skip the tomato and the price of the burger go up that much. The Mighty Bot says time to start a garden. Foreign Albarod's answers, it's always time to start a garden. It's an investment that's worthwhile. Someone's complaining that their tomatoes got too big and they harvested green tomatoes. Green tomatoes are delicious. Fried green tomatoes, food for a reason. Now we have expectation versus reality. It's origami. It's supposed to be a caiman crocodile. Caiman crocodile. This is what it's supposed to like. That looks really hard. Oh, they did a good job. That looks cute. That's super cute. Should I take up origami? I don't know that I have the skill for it. Yuba Foreign says, oh, this turned out nicely. I really like the scale texture. How long does this take you to fold? It took 10 to 12 hours of folding. That's a long time. Like I said, patience. It's really cool. Good job, OP. Next, I have real estate. This is in Denver, Colorado. Fireplace dragons, ornate and quirky woodwork. Even the hinges are gorgeous. They had me at distinct woodwork. I think fireplace dragons are the best. It's $1.9 million. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 4,100 square feet, approximately. That first picture looked very AI. I love it. It's beautiful. I love that detail above the door. I have a transom on that door. I love the detail up here above the door. Not part of the door. Well, that's really pretty. Very, very pretty. This is at the door well. Details. The trim details on the doors. Ooh, they do. They're bee dragons. They're really bee dragons. Why the AI furniture? Are the dragons AI or are you punking me? Let me see it without the AI furniture, please. That's a pretty old nookie place. I put a reading table in there, reading chair in there. I don't like the AI furniture in every room. Stop it. Nice. I like that. Locker door to the bathroom. It's a nice idea. Gorgeous bathroom. I'm not partial to the gold, but it's gorgeous. Why did they ruin the kitchen like that? Why? The orange coffee maker is a choice. Now we're upstairs. Nice landing, nice big landing. Why with the AI furniture again? That's insanity. It doesn't even look real. I told you it was AI. I've not seen a hinge yet, have you? Not noticed a hinge yet. Oh, that's pretty. I like that window. I'm trying to ignore the furniture. Stacking your books is a choice, I guess. Not partial to the green, but it's pretty otherwise. Weird ceiling there. How do you not get the ceiling wet every time you take a shower? Oh, that is cool. Okay. That is cool. Can't really see that the pictures. That's lovely. Almost done. So it does have a bit of a basement, not much of a basement. Why is the basement so small? Well, living room, for your family, living room, sitting room, and dining room, and a sunroom. All on the first floor. Kitchen's in the back. And there's a bedroom. And then there's 4 bedrooms upstairs. There's no real master. It's supposed to be this one downstairs. The laundry room is upstairs and main bedroom. No. I don't want to have to carry my laundry upstairs. I don't like how the bathrooms are either. I'm not thrilled with the layout, but it's beautiful. Almost $2 million for that, though. I mean, it's nice, but it's not that nice. Built in 1893. It's got a decent sized lot, I think. I don't like when they put the lot in square feet. I think it's not that big. It's only a 16th of an acre. So very small lot. The Lowback house is one of a kind, 1893 Victorian. Very positioned in a corner lot, the spacious two-story landmark residence enchants the very first glance with ornate trim. Wraparound covered porch, which I love. Victorian-inspired pollinator garden. Has a gas fireplace in the living room. They had carved mantle. I like the dragons. There be dragons. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. Only 1 full bath. 2 3/4 baths. Includes washer, dryer, dishwasher, dryer, gas water heater, microwave, oven, range hood, refrigerator, self-cleaning oven, and washer. Laundry in unit. Built-in features ceiling fans, entrance foyer, high ceilings, kitchen island, marble counters, pantry, and walk-in closets. Flooring is all tile and wood. There's a bay windows, shore windows, window coverings are included. Only 1 fireplace. I'm surprised in 1800s, in a building built in the 1800s, they only have 1 fireplace. That's crazy. There must be fireplaces elsewhere that they covered over. Because you'd want fireplace in every bedroom in that period. They didn't have heat. It is pending. Somebody's buying it. So only $6,000 for property taxes. That's pretty cheap. Somebody said the door trim looks like little cats leaning to look at you. Actually, LP said that. Grumptish says I would say good morning to them every day. Sunshine said she'd name them. Villainous says first night in the house hosts a Jellica ball. That'll clear that up. Yes, the Jellica ball from cats. Mac's wife says, I would happily spend the rest of my days polishing that woodwork, just need 1.9 million. Aggressive Green says, I would not, but if I could afford that, I could afford somebody who would. Irrigated Liver also answers, the place has 5 bedrooms, I only need 1. As much as I like having my own space, I would actually be willing to share. To be able to live in a place like this, 4 people at 500 each feels much more attainable. Yeah. You also have to share your kitchen and your living room. We have 4 bedrooms. There's 2 of us. One is a guest room. Also, it's the dangerous room. The boys have their weapons in there. And by weapons, I mean a couple of guns, a sword, and some lightsabers. Toy guns that don't work. Toy guns that are missing their trigger, or not missing their trigger, but missing the thing that makes the trigger work. Obviously, I have no idea what guns. I have no idea from guns. Obviously. Next, we have Server Life, and it's entitled "Ran into some guests in the bathroom tonight." So tonight was crazy busy at my restaurant. We seated about 170 people, and we were completely full and had 95 reservations. I was in the bathroom, and I overheard 2 ladies talking to each other. Should I replace the toilet paper in here? No, you don't work here. The waiters should do that. Yeah, but I yell at my kids at home for not doing it. Well, you should yell at the waiter. Ladies were still washing their hands and chatting when I was done. I promptly came out of the stall and went into the stall of the woman complaining was in, changed the TP rolls, threw the paper away, and washed my hands, but I could feel the secondhand embarrassment of them when I walked out. My boss told me I should have said, I can replace it, just give me 2 minutes from the stall. Why would you not replace the toilet paper if it was available? I was on a flight recently and got stuck in the toilet with no toilet paper. And the guy before me didn't bother telling anyone. So I'd yell at the flight attendants from inside. And I put the toilet paper on the roll so they didn't have to. Also didn't realize how to lock the door. It was embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. But I lived through it to tell the tale. Now I know how to lock that kind of airplane door, and that airline doesn't exist anymore. So, but I was still nice enough to put the toilet paper on the roll so they didn't have to. I told them I did it so that they didn't have to go in there to check to see if they didn't have to go in there for that purpose when it was already done. It costs you nothing to be kind to people. Seriously, they're super busy right now. Why would you do that? You know they're running around like cats with their heads cut off. Cats, because chickens normally run around with their heads cut off. Forever 99 says, I've got 8 tables that all require my attention. The last thing I'm thinking about is toilet paper. It'll get noticed by an employee or someone will say something to an employee. Tank Crusader says, agreed. If you see something, you should handle it if you have the time. But our hosts and bussers bathroom checks every 15 minutes alternating. A clean bathroom is really beneficial for customer perception. If the bathrooms are this clean and maintained, I bet the kitchen is too. Yes, that's true. Most people will not go back to a place when they find out the bathrooms are terrible. Tanola says, speaking as a customer, this is weird, and those ladies suck. If the TP is out, I can change it. I will. Lots of places lock it up, so I can't. If that's the case, I inform the server, bartender, or the hostess. I'm surprised they have the emotional capacity to be embarrassed. Delicious says if it's a big enough establishment, there's usually janitors or maintenance. If they can only do 200 people, that's probably not the case. Sonola answers, yes, but I'm not going to hunt for a janitor. Telling one of the aforementioned 3 will do fine. Agreed. Makes you mize, says the ignorance blossoms in the spring. They are flowers, blooming idiots. Next we have confession. I hide the cash in my best friend's house and I have been for 2 years. That's a good way to get rid of your cash. What if you lose access to it? What if you and your friend have a fight and lose access to her house? What are you going to do then? It all started when I met my best friend. Let's call her E. Let's not call her E. Let's call her Eve. In 2024, Eve's family aren't the most fortunate family in the aspects of money. I know this since I've met them. I first met Eve through a mutual friend, and me and her clicked instantly. We spent the whole summer we first met going on adventures and having sleepovers. We also went camping. I love Eve. She's my world, and she really saved me when I was at my lowest, as I like to think I did for her. Her family took me in when I had issues at home, and have always offered me a place to stay. I usually brought me and Eve food for lunch or tea and snacks every time I was there. I refused to let her pay, also getting her mom chocolates every so often. One day when I was around, they didn't have milk, and her mom seemed to make something. Mom needed it to make something. Her mom always has been kind to me, and I really helped me a lot. I see her as a mother figure. I have so much love for her. I offered to go buy milk for the shop, but she said they couldn't afford it at the time. I said no worries, that I would pay. She was very thankful, and I reassured her it's the least I can do, considering all that they did and continue to do for me. And so me and Eve and I went to the shop and bought some milk for her. I really had no problem doing this, considering I have a job that pays well. I don't buy a lot of things apart from monthly hair dye and occasional body jewelry, as I have quite a few piercings. We go back with the milk. I made her a cup of, and me and Eve went into her room to watch TV and chat, as you do. Anyway, Eve ended up telling me that her mom do money hunts around the house when they are tight for money. This entails checking under the sofa, checking sofa cushions, the laundry pile, etc. to look for loose change. She laughed and told me funny stories about these hunts, and I laughed along with her. That's when I began. Okay, this is better than I expected. I started hiding loose change. 20 pence, 50 pence, half pound coins around the house, and the occasional 5 pound note. Every time I came to her house, I left about $4 worth, four notes, 4 pounds worth of change in spots where I knew they'd look at. Sometimes putting money in E's money box. They still don't know, and I'm never going to tell them I do this. I love them. I love them so much, and her and her family are so good to me and so kind. I've genuinely just taken over in for the past 2 years. Her and her parents have gone above and beyond for me, and her brother is always kind and treats me as if I'm his sister too. I have a secret. I have kept the secret for 2 years and plan on for many more. Update: I've got a big backlash for wanting praise. I don't like it when people do that on this subreddit. This is for confessions. You can. What's wrong with being praised for something nice that you do? What's wrong with that? Barbie movie. Anybody seen it? You deserve praise once in a while. I don't want this. This is why I choose to tell people that I don't know who I am. As if I wanted praise, I would tell people I know. I also got told my post was Chat GPT. I don't use AI. I don't agree with it. It's so bad for the planet. My warning might not be the best, as I'm very dyslexic and borderline illiterate. I'm relying on a spell check, and I don't understand how to write properly sentences. I do apologize for this. It seemed fine to me. It's Reddit. Nobody expects perfection. Nobody should. They need to stop. Dear Big, this is the loveliest confession I've ever seen on Reddit. Second top rated comment is from Dolphin. Such selfish kind of thing for you to do. Somebody got their comment removed. Or looking for praise. I'm downvoting. I never downvote anything on here. I'm downvoting that comment. Sunshine and water. This is the sweetest confession. I love it. With that, we all planted money in each other's sofas. Kakiro says, I've done this every time I visit my Mima for at least 15 years. She won't take money from you, even if you beg her. She lives in security, and I know that ain't stretching as far. I've tried even giving her cash and holiday cards, and she will send it right back the next holiday. I just started stuffing cash in her house, coat pocket, or under her little doodads, or in her china cabinet or fake flowers, anywhere I could find. I also have somehow tricked her into accepting gift cards, so we give those at holidays. We know she can't figure out how to get one to give us in return, and we told her it's under her name, so she can't use it. Okay. That's chaotic good. It's evil good. She's 94, so we're amazingly lucky to still have her. She volunteers at the senior citizen to help those poor old folks. Her hearing ain't the best, but she's the best human I've ever known. Don't even get me started on my aunts and uncles' money. They will go through insanely sneaky tactics to pay the bill at a restaurant or get everyone takeout before anyone else can pitch in. It's practically warfare. They're in cahoots with the wait staff, and they're all tech savvy, so it's proven to be much harder to get money into their hands. Still trying to figure out a way in this day. Showed her fingers again. My grandmother's 95 and always used to say goodbye to us kids with a 20 in her hand as she hugged us, called it the fist of fortune. Now I'm a grown up and she isn't hurting for money. Luckily, it's still a fight to pay for stuff like dinner sometimes. I took my mom out for her birthday. Dad was off gallivanting on some business bus trip as a driver. Volunteer thing he's done for 25 years. But Grandma was living with them at the time. Anyway, both Mom and Grandma were with us, and Grandma grabbed the bill before I could and wouldn't let it go. I had a teddy bear for a husband who then went to leave, helped her up, and held her jacket for her to put it in. She put the bill on the table so she didn't squish it in the sleeve. I grabbed the slip and ran to the till. She was so mad. I love that you have convinced her that gift cards are her name. That's hilarious. That's great. Yeah, my kids just expect us to pay. Clearly, we did something wrong there. This is interesting AF. This Florida couple fought Bank of America after it wrongfully tried to foreclose on their fully paid home on $2,500 in legal fees. And when the bank ignored the ruling, they showed up at the sheriff's deputies and initiated an illegal foreclosure on the bank's local assets until it's paid. Good for them. Still, only one Lizzie Galter says only winning 25,000 feels shockingly low. It does. It does. It should have been 25,000 at least. From the article. In Florida, an angry homeowner whose home was wrongfully foreclosed on by Bank of America gets revenge by foreclosing on the bank's local branch. This surprised the people since they had no mortgage. I'm not trying to pronounce their last name. Not with Bank of America or anyone else. They have paid cash for their home in 2009. In June, the two sheriff's deputies and a moving truck showed up at the local Bank of America branch. The deputies informed the manager they could either pay the legal fees or the movers would start taking away the bank's furniture and cash. The manager, after conferring with his superiors, gave the deputies a check. Bank of America apologized in writing, but managed to misspell their name. I'm not surprised. Their name is very complicated. If the bank had taken 15 minutes to review the records on the property, they would have seen details of the transaction. Where they paid cash for the house? How does it even, how? How do they even think they own this house? In his view, their story is systematic of a larger problem. Banks aren't doing their due diligence before they start foreclosings. His clients say they are ecstatic but drained emotionally. It's scary to have your home foreclosed on when you paid cash for it. Rollins of Bank of America acknowledges a mistake was made. Basically, we're truly sorry for this. series of unfortunate circumstances that they experienced. He received a judgment, and rightly so. On Friday, the judgment was paid. Still, he says in the incident, it's not good for business. From another source, the attorney didn't just walk in and ask for a check. He gave the sheriff's deputies a specific list of assets to seize if money wasn't paid. It included desks, computers, filing cabinets, and even the cash in the teller's drawers. The bank later claimed the original request for payment went to an outside attorney who was no longer in the business. However, the attorney noted this was a symptom of robo-signing, where banks filed thousands of foreclosures without a single human actually verifying the data. This is why AI is bad. That's why AI is bad, because nobody's checking it. My husband, just yesterday, he had to do something, and he was supposed to be in section 1, we'll say section 1 of Michigan, and the AI told him it was section 6 of Ohio, because they were next to each other in columns, and he picked the wrong column. So check your AI. It's not doing well. That could be disastrous and given the wrong circumstances if an AI did that. Next, we have I'm on the A-hole, and it is entitled AITA for refusing to take off my engagement ring during a wedding. No. Throwaway account using mobile disclaimers. I'm meant to be attending the wedding of Tilly and Peter next month. They are friends of my fiance, and we have hung out plenty of times over the past few years. They got engaged about 18 months ago, and we got engaged 3 months ago. My engagement ring is light blue sapphire. In photographs, however, it looks a lot darker, which is relevant. I met up with Tilly and Peter last weekend, which incidentally was the first time seeing them in person since we got engaged. When they asked to see the ring, Tilly noted that it was much lighter in the photos we shared. Peter agreed that a little while later the conversation turned to something else. Tilly asked if he remembered what the bridesmaid's dress code was. A very pale blue. My fiance's groomsman so knew this he is wearing a matching tie. Peter said they were hoping that the only wedding party was going to be wearing that color, which was included in the invites. He said having a ring in that shape was no excuse to be breaking the rules. That's BS. It's a ring, not a dress. This was said humorously, so my fiance and I both laughed, and I assured him that I most likely would be wearing something darker and not blue anyway. Tilly then said that Peter was talking around the issue and that I wouldn't be able to wear my engagement ring, oh BS, at their wedding because it was too close to the shade of blue. Go pound rocks. I'm not coming to your wedding. I wouldn't go. Like, if you're going to be this petty and childish, I just won't attend. How's that? And my husband won't either. She said that she'd already made sure a family member wasn't going to wear a necklace with a similar gemstone. It's her engagement ring. It's not something you take off willy-nilly. A discussion ensued as both my partner and I said it seemed quite strong to be asking me to not wear my ring outside of sleeping and bathing. I've barely taken it off since the proposal. As you should. Tilly and Peter were insistent that I would be creating drama by wearing it, and that, if anything, it suggested I was going to steal focus away from them and the wedding party. I made it clear that I had zero intention of doing that, but also that the ring was not going to detract from the bride new room at the end of the aisle. No one's even going to notice her ring, you dorks. At one part, my partner was even accused of proposing to me and as a way of taking more attention from them, and during their wedding timeline, we got engaged on our 7-year anniversary in the middle of a once-in-a-lifetime holiday. So I'm sure it was not just to detract from his friends getting married. What the heck? Of course he didn't do that. That's stupid and silly. We left at a stalemate and anticipate either just me or both of us being de-invited, which is no issue to me at this stage. I do not want to know if AITA, though especially my fiance and Peter have been friends for over a decade, and it would hurt him if he misses his friend getting married over something so trivial. Send your husband, stay home. If they're going to be that petty. Oh. Packazappa says, goodness, I hope no one with blue eyes attends. NTA, worrying about something as small as ring is ridiculous. Edit, thank you for the awards. The necklace was ridiculous in itself. Green-eyed lady says you must wear colored contacts to color your blue eyes, no exceptions. Edit, thanks you kind stranger for the award. Bluegrass grazer says don't create drama with your baby blue eyes. I would find someone to bring with blue eyes that match the dresses of the bridesmaids. Just to be like looking for a blue-eyed person. Please send you a picture of your eyes so I can decide. free meal. Free meal and dancing. Maybe free drinks, I don't know. Express Barnacle says NTA, if a single ring will steal the spotlight for the wedding party, then they must have personality and charisma of a bucket of plaster. Seriously, they're gonna draw more attention to them not being there than for her to wear that ring to the reception. It's silly. Chop Lover says, what an insult to plaster. At least it's useful and not insane. The top rated comment is from Onaya. NCI, what's she going to do if she happens to be close to that if the sky happens to be close to that particular shade of blue? Go tell the god to change it. No one's going to be looking at guest hands during a wedding. Nesmond Topinade says, your fourth part made me laugh at your second point. I actually was that weirdo who went around complimenting my guests' clothing and jewelry at my wedding. One of the ladies I'd recently gotten engaged, and you bet your butt I fangirled over that ring. I'm a magpie. I love shiny crap. Honorable mention goes to the +1 who wore this stunning vintage emerald green velvet sheath dress. I wanted it for myself. Still do, actually. Went up to her during the reception and freaked out in a very positive way over how gorgeous she looked. Our photographer actually grabbed it, short of me bouncing on my feet going, gimme, gimme, gimme that dress. It's one of the cutest shots from the whole wedding. That's how you do it, people. Next we have I Don't Work Here Lady, and it says, entitled, You Don't Look Like Fred. I didn't have much direct customer contact in the upholstery shop I used to work at, so we were a little confused. One day, one of the front-end staff came back and said the one on the line was me. And I'm binary. I'm a woman named Fred. Hello, Fred speaking. Older woman on the other line. You don't look like Fred. I did the last time I looked in the mirror. Can I ask who's calling? I mean, you don't sound like Fred. I assure you I do. What can I ask who's calling? This is Judith Wheeler calling you back. I don't think I was expecting a call from you. Can you explain? Can I ask what this is in regards to? Perhaps you can jog my memory. I'm busy racking my brain if I have work or upcoming under Wheeler. I was told to call back and ask for Fred in service. She sounds very annoyed that I was not expecting her call. I have no idea what this is in regards to. Service. Oh, are you trying to call Fred Carlick in the service department at Merlin Ford? Yes. Right. She's right pissy with me. Oh, well, that makes more sense. You've reached Breath of Wales upholstery. I'm Fred and upholsterers. Why did they put you through to you? Probably because you asked for Fred, and Lisa probably just figured you said service instead of shop by accident. But we figured out the problem, so no worries. You can just call Ford and ask for the right Fred. I did call Ford. Well, our number is 306 875 Fred's is 931 875 My home is deeply suspicious. How do you know who I'm looking for? I drive an Escape. It's old enough that it needs to be a fair bit of service. I spend a lot of time at Ford. I know their service staff now. So why did I get you instead of the real Fred? Because you called the wrong number, lady. I'm also real Fred, but I don't know you. Did you dial the number on a keypad or click online or click the caller in your history on your phone screen, my call history? I don't know, but I guess it was computer glitch or cross wire with your phone provider. I suggest you dial directly from your keypad after we hang up. If it puts you through to us again, just tell Lisa you have the wrong number when she answers. Then try calling Ford from someone else's phone. Fine, I'll try that. She's still very cross. as if somehow I'm responsible for this. Good luck and have a great rest of the day. Goodbye. Click. I hang up the phone. All 6 of my coworkers present that day have stopped their work and they're staring at me in terrible confusion. What was that? My boss asked. It sounds like my old boss. Oh, she had the wrong number. She wanted Fred Corlick at Merlin Ford. What? And then the entire conversation. I had the entire conversation again to explain it all to them. I mentioned, I think yesterday, that my husband's phone number was one off from the Social Security number. Back in the day, you didn't have quick dials. Had to dial it by hand every time. Old people dialing by hand. Think about that for a minute. Wall's firm said, haha, my mom said it's something similar to her doctor once. She was chasing up a prescription for herself, but they kept saying they were still waiting on the one item to come in. Eventually, my mom asked what they were waiting for and got told it was some kind of gluten-free bread. My mom posed for a moment, that's for Sally blogs. I'm Sarah blogs. No, they weren't related, but they went to the same slimming class, and my mom remembered Sally saying the doctor suggested she try gluten-free products. That's funny. Second top rate comments from one refrigerator. In the beginning of that call, it reminds me of when I worked at tech support call center for a major global company. One day I asked for customer's name and details. The woman on the other end refused. Me, I need your details to pull up your account. Her, you don't need to, your manager is expecting my call. Me, knowing that there are hundreds of managers in the world she could be talking about. I'd happily put you through to them, but I'm still going to need your details so I can get your account up and transfer you to the right person. Her, just go to manager I've never heard of office and tell them I'm calling him back. This went on for way too long because she couldn't seem to understand that when you call a global tech company's helpline number, you could get through to any call number in the world, and that no one in any of them was waiting by the phone for her to call them back about an app not working. Yeah, don't think that your problem is the only problem or your guy is the only guy. Next is from Overheard and it's entitled, If a Baby is in There, It's Free Floating. Overheard nurse talking to a patient who was getting checked in for surgery. Nurse, you're still at an age where we have to do pregnancy tests, or you can sign a waiver if you prefer that. Patient, I'll sign the waiver. I had a hysterectomy, so if there's a baby in there, it's free floating. I just about died laughing. Top comments from Yarn Spinner says, I had my tubes tied, and every time I have to take a pregnancy test for whatever dumb hospital bureaucracy, I'm always like, if I'm pregnant, well, I'll have bigger issues to deal with than what I'm actually here for. Chocolatey Bite says, I was sterilized and actively menstruating when I was going in and had to do a pregnancy test. Like, if there's somebody surviving that amount of blood, I'm expelling. It's not human. Zombies and Copies is not sterilized, but this happened to me the last time I was in the ER. I genuinely just think they're choosing not to believe people when they say they're not sexually active, to be honest. Especially when it's a female doctor. She says her exact words are, I can see blood pouring from your cervix like water during the exam. Like, just let me sign the waiver and you're not liable for preface. Turns out I'm lying and having a miscarriage, for fuck's sake. Did I say that out loud? Sorry. Brain Over Body says, I've been there. I had a hysterectomy 10 years ago, and they always want a test. I tell them I only agree if they pay for it. Yes, exactly. Singer Girl says, same here. I had a hysterectomy nearly 40 years ago. Quiet Profanity says, answers I have them draw blood without telling me it's for HCG and then ending up receiving a bill for medically unnecessary lab. My surgery had been at the same hospital. Cookie Monk is the third top rated comment. And they say, years ago when I was 50, I filled out paperwork including medical history indicating I had had a hysterectomy 2 years prior before seeing a new primary care doctor. After reading over my history, including previous surgeries and the date of my last menstrual cycle, the young nurse asked if I could be pregnant. I said no. She very patiently explained, as if she was speaking to a child, that even at my advanced age, I could still become pregnant. I was irritated at this point and told her I think the hysterectomy listed in the previous surgery section of my history proves pregnancy out, doesn't it? They don't even read. Next is True Off My Chest, and it's entitled I Saw a Friend in the Market and I Can't Stop Thinking About How She Greeted Me. What do you think's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know either. The other day, my husband and I, 57 female, walked into the supermarket there. In the produce section, I saw a friend who I hadn't run into for years. We know each other professional capacity more than a personal one, but we get on very well, even though we never socialized outside of work. I see her standing there and so happy and explain, "Is that Dina Piscotti?" Not a real name. With a huge smile. She turns around, takes a minute to register my face, then she comes in. I thought we were going to do a friendly hug with a squeal of delight, but no. She grabs my shoulder and pulls me into a hug. Fully pulls me and hugs me with a huge smile, a huge embrace, and then pulls away, laughing and smiling, and then pulls me in a second time. I don't think I've been hugged like this in my life. I've never been surrounded by such genuine joy and happiness to be seen. It was complete, sincere, full of joy. We stood there a moment, catching up, introducing her to my husband, excited small talk left with plans for lunch, which we have scheduled next week. I cannot stop thinking about that hug again. No one has ever done this for me. Not parents, siblings, husbands, other friends, no one. It felt like pure acceptance and happiness to see a long-lost family member. It was wonderful. Oh, that's very sweet. I'm glad that happened. Sounds like you guys were destined to be friends outside of work. I would love for somebody to be that overjoyed to see me. Next, we have entitled Parents, but why is your child in my house? So we have this neighbor with a small child the same age as my 3-year-old, so I'm assuming he's about 3 as well. This happened twice where this boy escapes and is running barefoot and free across everyone's yards. The mom just follows saying, "No, you need to come home, stop running from mommy," etc., laughing like it's a game, not speaking with any kind of assertive tone, like she's accidentally encouraging this game the kid's playing. She isn't. She's encouraging it. So for the third time today, this child comes out of nowhere, no mom in sight, while me and my 3-year-old are outside. I figured he wanted to play with my child, but instead he just runs around grabbing things, trying to get into the toy chest, hopping on our toy car thing. After about 3 minutes, I ask him, "Hey, does your mom know you're here?" He says no. I hear his mom calling him, and she comes from the opposite direction this kid came from. And she walks across our yards. "Come on, buddy. This isn't your stuff. Let's go." And this kid is just not listening and running around. My child is just watching, trying to play with this kid, but he doesn't care about that either. I step back and let the mom get her kids, and she watched closer and says, "Come on, buddy, let's go home." Then this kid starts walking up the stairs to my front door right in front of mom, and within arm's reach, so she's still just standing there talking to this 3-year-old while he's smiling and not caring about her at all, and me naively thinking she would stop him or grab him before he got too far, but I was wrong. This child opens the door and just walked into my house. This mom immediately looks at me like she's shocked, hand over mouth, and doesn't know what to do. Our dog starts going crazy. He left the door open, so now I'm freaking out that my dog is going to jump on this kid or bolt. I run in there after my kid, leaving my now 3-year-old outside unattended. I realize now that he's smiling at me, opening cabinets in my kitchen, and I say, "Hey, I've got a sleeping baby in that room right there, and we're going to have to go back outside to mommy." And he starts dodging me and running around. So now I'm chasing this tiny boy around my house, trying to herd him out the door. But now I'm thinking, how is this okay? I'm about to grab this kid and carry him outside. What if this kid screams or hurts him somehow? Trying to get him back outside. I'm extremely uncomfortable at this point. Eventually, he runs out the door when he had nowhere else to go. I walk outside and the man says, "You just want to see what your house looked like, I guess," and laughs. Not funny, lady. He was not invited into my house. And then our kid proceeded to run into the next neighbor's yard, with his mom trailing behind. "Come on, buddy, it's time to go back home in the nicest way possible." This woman is not teaching her kid boundaries at all. I can't imagine my 3-year-old ever doing that, but he would be physically grabbing my kid and it gets them out of someone's yard, not trying to talk them out of it. I definitely wouldn't be letting some random woman chase my kid around her house while I stood there watching. I guess I'm asking for the purpose of doing better next time. I'm not sure if this kid has special needs or not, or if he's just being not being parented. What would you have done? How do I tell mom to grab her kid before he walks into people's houses? I had a kid walk into my house once. I found him in the basement, scared the crap out of me. He was autistic and they were new. And he was kind of a wanderer a little bit. My kids got to know him and he became actually partially verbal. Her mom still thinks they're great. Because they didn't exclude him like they could have. They included him as much as they could. Nickname says, Kid walks into my house and mom didn't stop and the kid's getting snatched up and gently tossed outside. Well, then the mom is getting yelled at. Order it says, yeah, that kid is getting dragged out of my house and mom is going to be very loud. Parent your wanging kid. Nickname answers, don't touch my kid. Okay, I'll just call CPS and let them know that you're letting your kid run into random houses. Yeah, no kidding. Ultimate Sleeper is the second top rate comment, and they say she treats it like a game because nothing serious happened yet. I bet if your dog had accidentally jumped on him and left a scratch, it would throw a fit. Yeah, probably. I have a lot of anxiety, so seeing a child run around with no adult would make me feel like I'm seconds away from seeing something bad happen. I would always feel on edge and now I'm someone responsible for keeping an eye on a toddler. You're not. I would definitely call the cops if I saw it happen again immediately. I don't care if the mom comes over me seconds later. So sorry, I called because I was nervous for the safety of your baby. Not a bad idea. Someone says this is happened. Some parents don't understand gentle parenting and instead let their kids ruin their lives. Ever Disheveled said, for real, actual gentle parenting is incredibly hand-on and exhausting. This is not it. Shmoo Borpoo says, right, my sister and brother-in-law were gentle parenting that child. I watched a child hit my sister at 3-year-old and 5-year-old with her doing nothing but having a conversation with her and making excuses. After the incident when she was 5, I told my sister if a kid ever did that to me, there would be actual consequences. The 2-year-old got actual consequences the other day for hitting his brother. His brother got consequences for the same thing. They were fighting over a toy. I took the toy away. Sis got self-righteous at me for a few minutes and told me that my niece struggled with boundaries and that I could set my own. Great, now I'm parenting your child for you, but I proceeded to do just that. No is no, no room for argument, no gentle conversation. I'm an adult, she's a child and needs guidance and teaching. I'm one of my niece's favorite people. She calls me Queen Auntie and literally bows down to me when she sees me as an ongoing joke. Oh my God, be the queen. This is called Cannonball Bathtub.
Cannonball, bitch!
Oh, jeez. Wow. That's crazy. Top rated comment is from Anon, and they say, why would anyone think that's a good idea? Hogan Nilly says, bold of you to assume these people think. True. Friend to all kitties says, wait till mom finds out. I'd like to see a video of that too. Dad would be the one. Snarl Mark says, I am legit shocked he didn't break anything. He did break something, he broke the tub. This is mildly infuriating. He showed up late to a party. My 4-year-old is making me wait in line. It's alive to get into the party. That's hilarious. I came as soon as she invited me. The good news is the queue is boinging into the party pretty quickly. Bad news, it might be school by the time I get in. It might be a school by the time I get in. The additional photo says, well, next time don't be late. Coffee mom, coffee demon says, put on some shoes or at least socks. No, it's hot. It's hot. No shoes or socks. That just makes you hotter. Fart bubbles of cheese says, my 3-year-old wakes up and says, don't talk to me as soon as I open the door. I have to wait a few seconds and ask if he wants to come downstairs and carry him. Toddlers are weird, man. Okay, Wave says, it sounds like you might be a morning person. He said you're doing too much. Argento fan UK says, unicorn kitties and the other guests might manage to show up on time. It seems like a you problem. Kids are funny. I love them. When you Karen complained about being called Karen. We live on a country road that, though being designated as no tricks, is used by many UPS delivery trucks every day. As an alternate route to the state road, 2 routes are equidistant. Today, I contacted the UPS via Facebook Messenger and then received this unbelievable response. I'm aware of which road you're referring to. I'm also aware there's a state route within close distance of the street you were referring to. What I cannot figure out is how you have nothing better to do with your time than sit out the window and count UPS trucks that go by. Roads are for public use. This road is not owned by you. It would be completely different if it was your driveway. However, it is not. The no truck sign is referring to semi-trucks and other extremely heavy trucks. Exactly. Package cars are lightweight and do not exceed DOT standards. Very closely in touch with DOT. Also, our trucks may sound loud, but that makes them sound like they are fast. But I assure you they are not. It is not possible for them to gain enough speed to be considered speeding for the small stretch of road you are referring to. Sorry, doing this. Please find a hobby where your impeccable perception of small details will be appreciated. Feed the homeless volunteer shelter, read to small children. These complaints are petty and unwarranted. I love the UPS answer. That's awesome. Yeah, that's not the trucks they're talking about, ma'am. Are the trucks in the room with us? Brian says also why it may be annoying to have UPS trucks go by. What would the people living on that road do if they need a package delivered? I totally see this lady getting trucks banned from her road, then bitching when Amazon packages stop showing up. She has to drive to town to get them. Pleasant Studio says, what kind of person hates on UPS drivers? They're like firemen. They're cool and help everyone out by bringing our stuff right to our doors. Plus, they drive cool brown trucks and wear cool brown shorts. What's not to like? Exactly. Second top comment is from Homer's Army. And they say, did she really post herself getting corrected and ashamed by the UPS, acted like she was in the right? Wow, unearned confidence of Karens. Your boy Shoe says, I love you, UPS service person. Yes, me too. Next I have Am I Overreacting? It is entitled AIO. Am I overreacting for wanting to cancel my wedding over this interaction? For reference, my fiance and I have been together for 6 years. I'm a feelings-based person who has tried really hard to meet him where he's at. He's a strictly logical person who puts little value on feelings. It sounds like you guys are incompatible. I texted him after I heard the apartment door close this morning. I'm really tired of asking for the bare minimum and being berated when I try to stand up for myself. We're supposed to be getting married in September, and it's moments like this where I wonder if the good outweighs the bad or if I'm overreacting. I'm going to share it so it's easier for me to read. I hope you have a good day. And he answers, I love my wife. Makes me sad when you leave without saying goodbye. It's always something. I mean, he did say he loved you. So. But I'm so sorry for you to say, I'm sorry, babe. Laying all the way off. So tired. I was teasing before, but damn, stop acting like this. I can kind of see where he's coming from. It's always something was not a tease that was real. You know, you're almost 30 and you can learn to communicate with your partner. Have you ever stopped to consider exhausting this to deal with somebody who stomps their feet and demands an apology for not getting them morning goodbye kissing in the morning? Desperately yearn to date an adult woman. You guys are not compatible. Have you ever stopped to consider how exhausting it is to ask for the bare minimum and not even get that? I desperately yearn to date a considerate man. You gotta, I love my wife, and turn this into an argument. I'm not the problem here. You're both the problem. You both are. Both of y'all. I know how important these morning, you know how important those little moments of connection are to me. He accuses her of removing the goalpost. She says she's not. Says you should not be crashing out because you didn't get a morning kiss. 6 years in, you should know that's important to me. 6 years in, you should be over it. You should know how important it is to have a partner that doesn't start fights over this kind of thing. I mean, if I was like this, my husband would not have me. If my husband was like this, I would not have him. She says she's gotten better about things. He says he had a hard moment and needed to catch the bus. You don't care about all that. Getting what you want. If a child is chill to die on, it is. I agree. She says she does care about his hard morning. This is a silly argument. He still tells her to wang off because she doesn't care. She says she loves him immensely. No, she doesn't. He says he's sick of being nagged and pestered all the time. Spending the next 8 hours of silence thinking about your good morning kiss and ask yourself if this fight was worth it. It's silly thing to fight over. It's dumb. This afternoon says, do you two even like each other? My answer is nope. Comfortable Hope says, yeah, Lala. Terror Gnome answers the first comment. If my wife ever told me to wang off and to spend the next 8 hours in silence thinking about what I did, she wouldn't be my wife anymore. Just as I would hope she would do the same if I treated her like garbage. It is wild to me the kind of crap people put up from their partners. Well, P and our partner need to be in premarital counseling at bare minimum. I think they need to break up. They obviously don't know how to communicate with each other. I can't imagine how miserable that is. Going to make things when they have their assets combined and need to talk to each other like adults to address issues. Second top rated comment is from Death and Disco, and it says, do not get married. 100%. They got 277 awards. Like this. That's awards. I'm embarrassed. He says, honestly, I know a couple of talks exactly like this. They're the most miserable married couple I've ever met. I guarantee it's exhausting for everyone around them. Topanga Toe says, my husband and I went to his work friends to watch football, have some drinks, snacks, and hang out a few years back. My husband not only knew the host and his wife were meeting their friends that they had invited over for the first time. It was rough. On the drive home, my husband and I both mentioned it to each other because we both had separately had to stand up for the strangers' wives on different occasions throughout the night. Two of us were baffled. We had the same thought. Do these people even like the person they married? Forever is a long time. Spend it with someone who makes your days easier. I mean, my husband and I bicker a lot, but we love each other and we get things out. We don't let things fester. And I think it's done us well. We just bicker. We bickered a lot more when we were younger. I'll put it this way. My sisters used to brag about how um, they never fought with their husbands, but they're both divorced from those husbands, and I'm not. So, not that that makes me a better person or anything, but clean up your own closet before you go into others. Or you complain about somebody else. Santara says, that's the point of arguing back and forth about how incompatible you guys are over and over and over these years. Just break up and find better matches. For real. For real, for real. Next, we have Best Predator updates entitled AITA for lying to my partner about having kids and laughing about it. This is from AI, Am I the A-hole? Originally September 3rd, 2023. AITA for lying to my partner about having kids and laughing about it. Yes. Anytime you laugh about having kids is not a good thing. I recently became engaged to my 34 female partner, 35 male. She's 34. He's 35. We met on a dating app 3 years ago and hit it off from the beginning. 5 years ago, I had my fallopian tubes removed, and I've known I don't want to give birth since I was 15 years old. I've never changed my mind, and I always said that if a child came into my life, I'd love it. But I'm not actively seeking that out. On my dating profile, I explicitly say child-free and infertile verbatim. In the beginning of our relationship, my now fiance regularly referenced other things I put in my profile, so I assumed he read that part. Kids never really came up in other combos. You always have to talk about kids. Always. At least by the time you're engaged. Last night, he mentioned that I should consider stopping my birth control since we're now engaged. And given our age, we should start trying for kids. I honestly thought he was joking and laughed. He got frustrated and asked me why it was funny, and I reminded him of the second line of my dating profile, such I was ostensibly fertile. He called me a liar. I happen to remember that I sent a screenshot of my dating profile to a friend for review around that time. I pulled up the old combo with her to show him the time and date, and that it needed stating when I was child free. I told him I had my tubes taken out. There was no chance of me getting pregnant without outside help. IVF is technically still an option, but I don't want to put my body through that. He stormed out, and his mom called me crying that I've ruined his life. His sister, no, you haven't. You're not married yet. You're not married yet. You haven't ruined his life yet. His sister sent me a long message about how getting my tubes removed should be illegal. No, and I'm a monster for stringing my fiance along. To be honest, the family never really liked me because they think I'm beneath him. My cousin told me it's because I'm fat, true, but I'm also pretty active. Regular walking with my dog, hiking, biking, swimming, paddle boarding, a little snowshoeing, nothing of which my fiance does with me, and a career woman in a male-dominated field. Plus, we share household labor 50-50. I make more money than he does. Because of this, I don't take what I say too seriously, but I'm starting to feel bad. His family believes I stole years of his life and ruined future chances of being a father by lying about my fertility status. He also asked for space when he stormed out, so I haven't reached out to him. I do love him. I'm starting to have serious second thoughts, given his family's reactions. I really should have talked about this before, but AITA, how I handled the situation, I should have talked about it before. So yeah, you're both. Everybody sucks here. Update on September 3rd, same day. So my fiance came home this morning and asked if he wanted to, and I asked him if he wanted to talk. He said there was nothing left to talk about. I asked if he wanted the ring back, and he got angry. I've never seen him like this. I tried to speak calmly to him, but he was just yelling about how I was giving up and wouldn't even talk to him. I reminded him that I asked if he wanted to talk, and he said no. To which he responded that he didn't think I'd go all crazy over a disagreement. This was a huge wake-up call for me, and I asked him why he'd never brought up kids beforehand, and he said he just knew I would get all weird about it. Sir, that's on you. I tried to get him to clarify, but he just kept saying he couldn't talk to me when I was like this. I swear I never raised my voice. I tried to speak calmly the entire time. I told him I can't have kids, nor do I want any. I don't want to give birth. It seems like a real deal breaker for him and his family. He said his family had nothing to do with this, and I asked him why he told them then. He said it was because he was hoping they'd talk sense into me. I told him I was ending the relationship, staying with my dad for the time being. This did not go over well. I'm still kind of shaking. I was leaving. I asked him how long he's wanted kids, and he admitted he never thought about it, but he knew I didn't want any. But now that we're engaged, it wasn't just about me. He had a say in children. I told him physically could not get pregnant without IVF. I asked him how he expected that to work. He responded that I didn't know what I was talking about, and after I left, I just didn't have the energy to try and convince him, and I didn't want to further agitate him. When I told my dad everything, he was furious. Apparently, my fiance spoke to him about proposing. He did not ask permission by both my dad and I are opposed to that tradition. And basically letting my dad know of his plans. My dad asked him if he was okay with never having kids, as I'd have my tubes removed. My dad had specifically brought up my surgery and the impossibility of a natural pregnancy. My fiance told my dad it'd always be my decision. I'm faithful this happened before we started the wedding planning. It feels like I swallowed a boulder. I know I should have been, I need to be more adamant in the future about my stance on kids, and I promised I have these discussions with future partners openly from the start. I blocked his family from messaging me after they added me to a group message and started throwing Bible verses at me, saying I'm a defective woman for not having wanting kids. That's ridiculous. She has every right not to want to have kids. I don't have the energy right now to be petty, so I just blocked them. My dad's going to help me move my stuff in the next couple of days. I need to talk to a landlord and figure out the lease. I'm financially stable enough to pay for my own fees, but I doubt my now fiance can afford to rent on his own. The only text I've received from him is just, "You'll regret this." No, she won't. She won't at all. You might, but she won't. I don't believe it's meant as a threat, but I'm being cautious just in case. Thank you for all the feedback. I was helpful in understanding where I went wrong. This will be my first long-term relationship, and I widened up a lot of the communication. But I know it's not just on me. I need to become the kind of person who doesn't want to rehash things if I feel like we're on the same page. But with huge decisions like this reiterating necessary, people are allowed to change their minds. It means rehashing is necessary in a healthy relationship. Why did he think you were on birth control at all? He knew you had your tubes tied, at least by the time Dad told him. You guys are too old for this crap. Final update February 9th, 2026, 2.5 years later. Final update. Hi, so completely forgot this account until recently. I figured I'd give an update since the story got crazier and a bit anticlimactic, and a few people have asked. I'm going to give fake names so it's easier. Ex-fiance is Josh, his sister will be Jill. Moving out was pretty easy. Josh wasn't around, but I did find a few things in odd places I suspect was intentional to make me leave them behind. It was quiet for about a week, then I got called into an impromptu work meeting. My company is fairly small, and I'm upper level of the admin team, so it's not totally uncommon to get meetings with the two owners, a married couple. When I logged on, it turned out to be coaching convo to address my use of company resources for personal matters. Apparently, Jill found the company phone number I had been calling, the number attempting to get through to me or my supervisors. But the third-party company we used to manage that phone number didn't have my contact, or didn't know who it was, because of my position as a client-facing. I'm usually pretty good under pressure, but I didn't want to lose my job, so I ended up crying and spilling the whole story to my bosses. Turns out they both intentionally child-free as well and were incredibly supportive, thank goodness. One of them was a retired Navy, and he asked multiple times if he should pay them a personal visit, but his wife just rolled her eyes and told him that would be plan X after all the others failed. Long story short, I ended up finding an attorney who helped me navigate a protective order. Jill didn't handle this well and tried to sue me for damages with Josh and their mom. How does that even work? It took a year to actually make it to court, and no one's surprised. The suit was dismissed, and the judge was very displeased with the waste of court resources. I was granted a restraining order for Josh, Jill, and their mother after I presented the evidence of harassment as well as a notarized statement from my company. We also had recordings from the company phone calls, but the judge didn't need them apparently. I blocked all of them and had no idea what's going on with them now, but they have thankfully left me alone. My dad was really happy to have me as a roommate. I think he'd been lonely. So I just stayed with him and split his bills. My dog has always loved my dad, so she's in heaven. Haven't really been dating, but I have been taking mixed martial arts classes recently, and I just finished a year of ice skating classes. I'm enjoying having some free time. I'm perfectly content being single right now. I know now that there are a lot of things I let slide about Josh and his family that should have been deal breakers, and I think I should have figured out sooner or later that I'm still trying to learn to trust myself. Until then, I'm not in a hurry to date anyone new. Thank you for everyone who commented and offered perspective. It really helped. My best friend and her husband had a fun time going through it all with me. That's nice. I'm glad. I'm glad they broke up. I'm glad. I hope Josh is happy. This is from Made Me Smile. This is our ending segment. What's an oddly romantic thing that's happened to you on a date? First date with a girl, I went to the bathroom, but for some reason I looked back at her and she was pulling my seat closer to her seat. Oh, that's sweet. That's very sweet. Good for you, LP. Peel Mammoth says, as a top rated comment, I went to uni with my childhood friend who introduced me to one of his classmates. We hit it off one time. She forgot her umbrella. Her umbrella. I walked her home about 5-minute walk. Felt butterflies being that close under an umbrella. It was in the middle of the rainy season, but this girl kept forgetting her umbrella and had to walk her home a couple more times. This girl's clever. One afternoon, it was me who forgot to bring one, and like clockwork, I saw her waiting for me at the entrance. I told her I forgot mine, and she ran to the umbrella rack near the guardhouse to pull her own umbrella. Turns out she kept leaving hers there so I could walk her home. I love it. That's awesome. I love it so much. Okay, Barb says, I have a hearing issue in my right ear. We went to a restaurant booth and chair set up. I gave her the boot because I'm a gentleman and I take the chair. We're oriented away. The waiter is on my right side, so I turn my head to hear better with my left ear. She laughed and said I do a weird thing with my head. I told her I have hearing issues with my right side. I went to the bathroom and came back, and she gave up the booth so my left ear was facing the waiter so I could hear better. She didn't say anything about it, but her quietly doing that was the sweetest gesture. 14 years going on with that woman. And for people wondering, I had surgeries in my ear growing up. I have built up cartilage in my right side much more significantly, where there's a 50% hearing and my left is 70%. I had to have surgery to remove it, but it might grow back thicker or make it worse. I'm not deaf in the ear and started hearing directly to my right. I wonder if they had tumors. Some kids get tumors in their ears when they're little. It doesn't happen to adults, apparently. But they have to have them, like your bones have to be taken out and the tumor scraped off. It's wild. Marina Cole says, last time I went on a first date, he took me mini golfing for a nice walk before dinner. At various points in the dating, random pulled out packs of Rolos from different pockets. I mentioned in passing they were my favorite. I could barely remember telling him this. On our second date, he brought me clothes lilies because we'd walked past them and I said I loved the smell of them opening. Anyway, now we're engaged and I'm expecting his child. Sir Claire says, started seeing someone in September. In December, things were going well, so he asked me to go with him to his work Christmas party. Multiple of his colleagues greeted me. You must be Claire. Great to meet you. I was so new, but he'd obviously been telling everybody he knew that we were still together 26 years later. I'm going to keep going. Famous ad says, I was on a very first date with my now husband. We were talking about super deep things that shouldn't be touched on a first date with a 10-foot pole. He started, so I felt comfortable sharing intense things too. He walked me back to my car at the end of the date and had absolutely the best kiss of my life from this man. I started driving home. I'm smiling, thinking about him, excited with the possibilities of the great first date. I drive for maybe 5 minutes. He calls my cell phone and says he just couldn't wait for me. It was such a great, wonderful feeling. It was like this peace came over me. Basically, did all the things the dating guidebook tells you not to do. It was immediately apparent to me that he wasn't trying to play game. The comfort this man had brought to my life is unreal. He turned my jade into jaded glasses into a rose. Love it. Love it. Love to meet cutes. All right, that's all I got today. I'll be back tomorrow. Probably not with a reality TV. Looks like on Friday we're doing Balin again. Yesterday. Yes, tomorrow I will do one. At least one. Probably Balin again. Because I think she's on Wednesday night. I'm not sure. She might already have been on. I'm not going to get behind on Balin. I'm already behind on the other one, so I don't care. And next week I'll start 3 days a week. Remember, don't forget. Don't forget. All right, bye, biddies. Bye. Love you all. Have a good day. Bye.